Word. What is up? TRESHO9 people, what's going down? What's going left? What's going right? What's going up? I hope you're going up. I hope you're doing whatever you're doing. Kombucha. All of a sudden, I had the sniffles. I was fine, and then I was like, let's go live. And then boom. Shaka laka boom. I'm using this StreamYard for my lives now. I was using Zoom and I decided to go on Stream Yard because it was I think it's going to be all inclusive. I don't know if it records your live show. I'm not really sure, but anyway, what's going down? TRESHO9. What is TRESHO9? TRESHO9 is the relationship experience. Now, it began with my experience. So as I experienced relationships, all sorts of relationships, right? In particular, though, uh, my marriage, right? Kind of uh, untangling it, if you will, or beginning to understand it and what it means and what it meant and what it means now. Because right now, it's a lot different. Why is that? Well, it's different because I've gained new information or I've gained information. I've gained some information and I've applied it. Now, I'm not the guru. I'm not a teacher. I'm not thus saith the Lord. I'm not also somebody who professes to be a pickup artist or a relationship guru, an expert. None of that. None of that. But it growing up and being raised by my mother, single mom, and a grandmother in the home, both women in the home, and myself, and just watching the dynamics of my aunts and the dynamics of my uncles, um, relationships and the social dynamics of man and woman fascinated me, and they still fascinate to me more. My curiosity for the social dynamics of men and women, the yin and the yang, if you will, have grown immensely. Excuse me. They've grown immensely, and frankly, um, I would say that I've dedicated myself to this. What does that mean? So I've understand. Um, I've become to under. I don't even. I'm understanding that there are obviously differences in the way we communicate. There are there's this like vibe, or there's this saying, if you will. There's this talk about women or men don't communicate in the relationship. Now, that's probably true because they didn't get the knowledge. They didn't want to obtain the knowledge also. Maybe they are stuck on the society's ways, and so they didn't look inside themselves first to gain that knowledge, to gain that understanding. And because God placed it inside you. You know what I'm saying? You dig? And the unit, whatever the universe is, it put it inside you straight up. And I can attest to that. And because of that, and then because of social conditioning, men tend to follow the social conditioning because it's a little bit more easier to blame this person, blame that person, and so forth and so on. And they just kind of go with the flow, right? Uh, I don't want to break up a happy home, or I don't want to cause any ruckus. I don't know. I don't like the way that sits. Anyway, I don't want to cause any ruckus. I don't want to. I just looked in the light. My eyes are blinded. I don't want to ruffle the feathers. And so, happy wife, happy life. Now, I'm here to tell you right now, straight up, I don't adhere to that at all. As having the knowledge that I have and understanding that I have, I can't. I don't know what everybody else is saying. I can't adhere to that. I can't adhere to happy wife, happy life. What I can adhere to and what I follow based upon just finding that individualistic man inside of me, the true man, I find that happy man, happy wife, happy life. Now, it could be happy man, happy life. You don't there's no rule that says you have to have the wife and then you have to have the happy wife. Now, granted, right, if you have a witch or a bitch of a woman that is nagging constantly and complaining and you don't know how to deal with her, then your life is going to be miserable, straight up. And I've watched the most educated that I know. I don't know everybody, so I only know these people that are educated and smart in the area. And when it came to them getting married or having a girlfriend or whatever, they didn't have a clue what was going on. They didn't have a clue what was going on. They didn't understand why she was acting the way she was acting. Is because she didn't know how to communicate. You didn't know how to communicate. You thought, probably based upon your mom, you watched your mother communicate and you watched her do certain things, and she was really good at what she was doing. She was really good at it from your perspective. Because you were younger, you didn't really know what was really going on with her. Um, but as you get older, you look at them. I look at my mom now, and I'm like, my goodness, I don't think she had a clue what was going on, and I don't think she had a clue what to do and how to communicate. And I know that she didn't. Me being who I am, though, if you really dive deep and stay tuned on a regular basis, you'll understand my gift. And I've always communicated in a very profound way, not a perfect way. I don't know. I don't use big words. I'm very simple with my words. But as far as articulating what it is that I'm feeling and then putting it into words, putting that into action, I've grown and still growing to be better and good at that. And so even growing up, my mom would say, I understand, like, you articulate and you communicate so much better than I do. You know what I'm saying? And she would be, and I didn't understand back then. I didn't get it back then. I didn't understand that she didn't know how to communicate straight up. Like, she told me this. So this is not no diss on her. She was doing the best that she literally was doing the best that she knew how to do. Period. She hit a ceiling and she couldn't go any further than that. And she was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. Da 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 da. And so I took that and I was like, man, and I began to then watch other women growing up, right? And then I would begin in high school, more so in high school. Middle school, I was just like, "Duh-duh-duh." But in high school, I was more like, oh, okay, I'm noticing this, I'm noticing that, I'm noticing this. And I remember my first friend zone, if you will, right? I didn't know that the women were communicating that, hey, buddy, you're in the friend zone. I was like, well, what is that? I don't even know what that is. Um, and that was being a part of a group of group of girls at the time that I was always hanging around with and whatnot. Um, and I learned from them though. I took it and I learned from them. I flipped it. I was like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, I'm in the friend zone. Don't know what that is. Cool. I will learn from you, but it didn't really help. It didn't help at all, man. It didn't help at all, dog. And I was like, look, you're more confused than I am. And you the one bringing it up. You the one that's, supposedly supposed to be this and that, but nah. And so fast forward, uh, have you ever made plans with a woman and then she flaked on you? It happens a lot. Talking to some friends and then talking to some people that are pretty high status, that you would think like, man, why would a woman flake on you like that? You know what I'm saying? But they do. They do. It really it doesn't have to do with you almost. Sometimes it doesn't even have to do with you. It's just them. They just don't know. You know what I'm saying? They just don't know. Anyway, I got my kids in the background, so you're gonna hear there for some reason, because what happens is as soon as I click record or as soon as I go live, they're all quiet. No one's saying nothing. And I hit record, boom. And then I have the door shut too. So they're like, fuck that, nigga. Why do you have the door closed? I am supposed to be the only one that you are giving your attention to. You are not to be giving your attention to anybody else. So that's that. I cut my hair today and I washed it off with a rag. I had missed some spots, so I did it a second time. Now I'm in a sweater and we had the heater on. Now I'm sweating and I got this bright light on here. This is not my normal lighting though. I have a different light and I wouldn't recommend it though. I'll show you. Let's see if I can get it. The lights that plug in with the USB like this, right? Don't get those. You if you do like a 3-hour podcast, even a 50-minute podcast, it doesn't work. The battery dies. It doesn't matter what company it's from. Any USB thing like that, you're better off getting a bigger battery pack, like one with a battery pack or one that you can plug in and it'll just stay lit. I didn't know that at the time. Beginning of COVID, I learned all this. You know what I'm saying? Still learning. I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't. I let me see. Is this thing even live? It says I'm live. And yeah, so communication, I mean, with women is interesting because it's an evolution for me. I don't know what it is for you, but it's been an evolution for me. Again, it's been fascinating and it's been great understanding has happened because of it. And yeah, we'll see where that goes. So yeah, what was I saying? My mom, me, communication, woman flaking on you. Yeah, it's funny because you begin to not get upset anymore. You begin to understand like these. It's like dealing with a kid. I have 4 kids, and so I go back and forth and I look at different things. I'm like, oh my goodness, this behavior lines up with this. That is wild. Is there something there? Is there a thesis there? And then I try to then I look and I take a couple weeks, couple months, and I just every day I'm looking and listening and watching and dissecting and going, wow, you two, a 10-year-old and a 30-something-year-old communicating the same, almost the same way. And then here I am still, I'm not even communicating the proper way because I'm 44 years old right now. And I'm about 4 years, if you will, into this new journey of manhood, right? Some have called it alpha male. Uh, I don't know. I don't have the terms, man. I just be. You know what I'm saying? I just be. It's inside of me. I let it out, and I have a saying: it's act real until you remember. Okay, it's not fake it till you make it. That shit does not make any sense at all. It's act real until you remember. Okay, because everything that you have and everything that you want, all that stuff is inside you. All that stuff is inside you. And man, it just like bruh. And to find this and to find this community, I send those manifestations out there. I manifest these encounters that I want from men because I need that community to to learn from. Okay. I enjoy that community to be able to learn from and apply these things in my personal life. And so my marriage is also different, right? So let me give you a little backstory about that. I've been married for 12 years. When I got married, I was in religion. Okay. I was in Christendom, Christianity, religion, that sect of religion, right? And there's even in that, there's a many different um different sects, or sex, not sex, but sects, like what do you call that? Different denominations, if you will. And non-denominational, I guess, is what they would call themselves. So there's no necessarily real denomination of the that particular church, if you will. Yet to me, when I look back at it, look back at it, look back at it, when I look back at it, and reflect, it's really all the same. It's very similar, right? And so one denomination is saying that we are the truth, no one else is the truth. And this denomination is saying we are the truth, no one else is the truth. And this denomination is saying we are the truth. It just keeps going. It just keeps going and going and going and going and going. And so I grew up, and so as I got married, as I was getting married, I was in that. I was deep in that. I was a pastor. I was studying, and I still study things, different things, and all these different. I still study religion. It's interesting. Um, I study it from a different point of view now, and I just keep kind of looking at it from a different point of view uh, periodically. And in that religion, it is known that you want to have sex, don't have sex before marriage, get married, then you can have sex, and you can have sex abundantly and not feel guilty about having sex, right? And that has been pushed upon religion. It's really pushed upon society a little bit, not too much. Things have a lot has changed since then. Since me, I'm 40. Like I said, I'm 45. I've been in the game. I've been in the Christian game, the Christian religion for quite some time. Now I'm not. I'm out of that completely, um, because it was an anchor. And when you start studying church, that meaning of go look up church, go dive deep. Don't just look at the first thing that Google says. Like look deep and deep and deep. You'll see, you'll see. But basically, eh, church is basically it's a feminine word, and it's a containment of man. It's to contain men and to trap them, if you will. And then there's a certain goddess, and then there's a certain deity around that, where the word actually comes from. Not saying, I know people in the Bible like, well, God gave us the word. God gave us the word church, and it's like, no, he didn't. Trust me. I promise you, he did not do that. And you, sorry, you didn't do this. I did this. Got married under the pretense of I want to have sex. Got to get married, and it was for love too, for sure. For sure, it was for love, but it come to find out it wasn't. It really wasn't, and I was so discombobulated and so not understanding the actual truth that it's like, oh, you just listen to whatever the pastor says, and you just like, oh, okay, I'm supposed to do this, and then you look at the Bible, and there are instructions, if you will. There are things that you can follow that will help you, and we were following it. But here's the thing about communication and about women, and where that all came into play. It's like, okay, so we're supposed to do this, and the men is supposed to do X, Y, and Z. We're supposed to treat this woman like the church. We're supposed, basically, if you think about Jesus, how would Jesus treat a human being? And that's how we're supposed to treat the church, right? As a man, to a woman. That's what they say. That's just what they say. And so then you think about, then there's Proverbs 31 woman, or Proverbs 31 that talks about a virtuous woman. And the women would do these studies with each other, these Bible studies with each other, and then they would come out saying, well, I can't obtain that. I can't do that. That this woman was this, and that, and this woman was this, and that, and it didn't hit me at first. It didn't hit me at first, but after a while, fast forward just a little bit, after a while, when I was married, deep into the game, I started to think like, wow, you are you even do women as a whole general, as a whole in Christianity, they read all this stuff. Are they even attempting to try? Why would you say anything is hard? I started to DJ, that was hard. But live broadcasting, that was hard. I didn't know how to do it. Now I'm doing it. So what I say like, "Oh, I can't be this because it's so hard. It's so hard to be this." Like I'm just like, "Well, wait a minute. Why what are you trying?" You know? Like y- when it comes to like let's say sports, I can only do some relationship with sports here. The best way to understand this and help you understand it as well. Um, okay, so let's say, I started playing baseball just because like my mom was like, you got to get out there and do some sports. You got to get out and do some sports. So I said, okay, I'm gonna do some sports. All right. And I get on the field and I'm thinking to myself, I've never, I don't even own a baseball glove. Nope. Never held one. Never put one on. Never threw a ball. Never caught a ball. None of that stuff. And I walk out there, I'm just like, man, everybody, look at these kids, look at all these parents, and they got all the lawn chairs, and the dads and the moms are out there. Everybody's happy, everybody's doing it. I'm just like, I don't know what to do. I can't do this. And I get out there, and I just based upon what I looked on TV, maybe, and I didn't really watch a lot of TV. But just based upon what I saw, even on the field, and what the other kids were doing, I just copied that. And then I just asked some questions. I was like, "So what do I stand here? What? How do I hold the bat?" And even the people were like, "Man, he don't even know how to do none of this stuff." I was like, "No, I don't. I don't think I articulated that at that time that well, but in my head, I was thinking definitely like I don't know what I'm doing." So I get out there. They test with this. They test with that. I remember when the standing at bat and someone threw the ball to me. I think I flinched. I don't even think I swung. I think I jumped out the box and was scared. And he was like, "Wait, no, stay in the box. Stay there. You can't hit the ball outside the box. You got to be inside the box to hit the ball. The ball's gonna come over the plate and then you can hit it." I was like, "Okay." So I stand here and I remember thinking, like, is the ball gonna hit me? What if the ball can I move when the ball hits me? And I remember the ball hitting me. I didn't move because I'm like, you told me not to move. It's like, well, if the ball's gonna hit you, dang, move, bruh. You know what I'm saying? Get out the way. Get out the way, homie. And so this is tryout. So this is like, it's yeah, it is tryouts. They're trying to pick and where they're gonna put you and whatnot. And then the grounder test, if you will. The guy hits the ball and the grounder came up. And I was like, the ball was bouncing. I'm like, I think it's gonna hit me in the face. I'm like, what do I do? So I just went like this for a grounder. And I remember the coach said, take your glove off. And then he threw me the ball. And then I caught it like this. He's like, see how natural that is? You already have it. You're over here thinking, oh, can't do it, can't do it, can't do it, can't do it. Take the glove off. Boom. And so I say that in relationship to there's a lot of things that we can't do and obtain. I can't obtain. No, could I be a Daryl Strawberry? Can I be, Babe Ruth or Barry Bonds? Can I live up to that? No, but that wasn't my goal. My goal was to be the best. How can I do these things? How can I learn how to do these things within the realm of my skill that I already have? So these women already have this, but they're walking around. So that was the first red flag. I'm thinking to myself, okay, if you're over here not thinking or you're thinking that you can't do it all the time, that's a problem. And so it's like you take it piece by piece. And if women would listen to a powerful leader of a man who is willing to put in that work. There's some men ain't willing to put in that work. That's the problem. Because they're still little boys. It doesn't matter how they look and how big they are and how much money they got. If you're still a little boy, you're still a little boy no matter what. And so I started to understand and started to look at that and go, okay, well, that's the first problem. You're trying to live up to something that you're reading, but you're not internalizing it. You have to embody this thing. You have to embody this thing on a day. You have to do it every day. You have to do it every day. So you can't just do it one time. Every day you got to do it again, do it again, do it again, and do it again. Right? Right. Cool. Yes. Because you already have it inside you. I promise you, there's all these women out there have all this inside of them, and they just need. But I think that, diving deep into this series in this next few months and weeks and whatnot and years, as we begin to dissect the communication of men and women. I am a man, so I'm looking at it from the perspective of I'm looking at the behavior of women and seeing how they communicate. And there's no diss. It's just me trying to understand what it really is. You see, you dig? And so I'm gonna see if I can do something here. Um there's this let's see here. There's this YouTube video that is just phenomenal. It's feminist, a feminazi who is just shredding black men in general. She is just shredding it. Let me see. How do I play this?
Respectfully, usually. So that's what I did, and then I sort of went through your channel. I've seen your videos before, but I didn't go through the channel, and I really didn't take heed to some of the titles, whether it's clickbait or not. But they do seem to be a bit divisive, and you seem to be creating or perpetuating the paradigm of one sex, one gender versus the other, rather
Hmm.
than sort of breaking that perpetuation and creating a sense of unity and a sense of true identity. And I think true identity because it's very nuanced. People think they know everything, but
Okay. She's oh no, I'm trying to tell you. Oh man, this so she's coming on, doesn't know this person, but she's coming on to this guy's channel, and he is a strong alpha male type, if you will, right? I don't know any other words. I'm a simple guy. I don't know all these fancy words and whatnot. And she's a feminist. I don't know how she defines feminism nowadays. I know it's very different from what my grandmother um, had these terms. Feminist to my grandmother was men were at war, the woman stepped up. Okay, the government had control over the man, and then took the man at their own demise. They signed up for it, but yet they still went World War II. Um, and then they got busy because they needed to get busy, so they began to allow women to work, and that's actually how my grandmother and my grandpa met, because they started working in the military, or he did, and then he was a seaman, no pun intended, and she was just a housewife, English, raised by English teacher, and they ended up working at Boeing, in Arkansas, I think, or Wichita, Kansas, maybe Arkansas, Wichita, I'm not sure. And that's how they met. She was a riveter, on the wings, of Boeing. She did the rivets, and then he worked on the body of the plane. And so, probably they were working, and he saw her, was checking her out, whatnot, and was like, "Hey, baby, you know what I'm saying? I want to take you home to meet my parents or something." I don't know how they did it, but so anyway, that to me is the how my grandmother defined feminism, is that basically when men went off to war, right, the women stepped up. Okay, then they came back, Some had PTSD and shell shock and all that stuff. So they were really distant and just shocking. There was no, there was no counseling for anybody. No counseling for the man, no counseling for the woman. The woman was like, I just gotta work, you know what I'm saying? So they had to learn all this stuff. Same thing with the guy though. They had to learn all this stuff too. And so um she's on here explaining like, he's pretty forthright and pretty forthcoming in how he feels about the dynamics of the men and women and the differences, because we are different. Okay, we are not equal in terms of the characteristics. Yes, like we can both, like if I work at Ford, a woman can work at Ford. If I build the engine, she can build the engine. Y- Got it. You know what I mean? Like, okay, we're the same. Yes, we're all human, but there is a book out there that really helps men and women look at the brain of the woman, and she breaks it down very well. It's the brain of the woman. I don't even know. Again, I just read this stuff, man, and it is called. Let me see if I can find it. Where is it? Mindset? No, where is it? I have so many books. I don't know why. The Female Brain by Leon Brizendine. Okay, it looks like I don't know if you can see that. You see the female brain? The female brain. Boom. Looks like that. And so she breaks it down scientifically how the woman's brain is different, how it's created and all this stuff. So we are different. Let's not be afraid of that. I'm not afraid of being different. I don't need to be the same as why? Why do I need to be the same? It doesn't me looking at a woman saying you're different, you are not the same as me doesn't take away the love that I have for women and the respect that I have for a human being. I don't understand that. Being a man, we should not be afraid of saying, okay, we're not equal in different areas. There are certain areas that I can pick up a pen, you can pick up a pen. You can work at any, you can be a CEO, I can be a CEO. Yes, for sure. We're gonna handle it differently though. You dig? We're gonna handle it very differently. And whereas a man is going to look at it maybe a lot more logical, and the woman looks at it a lot more with emotions and whatnot tied into it and feelings and all that stuff. Not a problem. These are not bad things. Now, however, when you got to make a quick decision, you already have to decide. You can't be like, well, who, what, how, ooh, huh? You can't do that when you got to make a quick. You got to make that decision and go with it. Um, and so anyway, she's talking about how do we talk about men and women living harmoniously together, okay? And you got to watch it yourself because she has zero solutions. Zero. In my book, I missed it, but she has zero solutions. Her solution keeps it's always it's about society needs to do X, Y, and Z versus women need to do X, Y, and Z, men need to do X, Y, and Z. It's always society. It's always a man needs to do this and do that. And the woman has been put in situations where, and it started off with that, and then it really took off about single moms. That it's like 3 hours of single mom talk, and and how that dynamic is and why that is. And he is interesting because he made a point to say, let's put the responsibility on the woman. Let's put the responsibility on you. Had terrible skills in men and getting a man, and you got this man who just wanted sex That's what he wanted. You because you, as you can see, she's fine. Wanted that ass, got it, impregnated you, and bounced. That's kind of the story. We really don't know the details. She doesn't go into the details of what happens. She is extremely vague on every answer. If she even answers a question, she doesn't even answer. She doesn't even communicate. Her communication skills are terrible, terrible. Um, and you got to really read between the lines. You got to have a dictionary because it's just wild. And so she goes in. Let's listen to a little bit more of it. Let's see what we can do here.
To all of the people watching, I want you all to know that I like Annalicia. Is that the right pronunciation of your name,
It
Annalicia?
is. And I'm
Okay, good.
impressed because no one gets it right the first time. So thank
Well,
you.
hey, I get a lot of things right the first time, you heard me, but we could, as I said, get to that offline. But while we're online right now, I think the thing that the viewing public should know, this is a very brave woman because I would be scared to debate me in general. And in her case, this will be good because you're in graduate school right now?
Yes.
Okay, so she's in graduate school, so she is, by
That's
all
one
accounts,
straight
an
answer.
academic and theoretically should be a rational person, able to analyze information and think in a linear way, which is certainly something that we promote within the SAS. And so that's a beautiful thing. Undoubtedly, though, there is this curious difference between male and female thinking. Saints, you often know I tell you to shut the fuck up sometimes, whereas her first instinct, she said, I wanted to express myself. Well, now you didn't express yourself, and we gonna figure out what's what. So the first thing I thought you point out that was really interesting is you said that my words were divisive, and that's ironic to me. So I need to understand because much of my work is about repairing relations between male and female.
Okay. So right there. All right, we'll stop right there again. The work that we're doing, the work that I'm doing in TRESHO9 in the relationship experience is not to divide. This movement is not to divide. It's to expose, it's to heal, it's to learn, it's to grow, it's to be, again, it's to act real until you remember. Act real and to be the person that you're supposed to be. Period. Period. Oh, man. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Oh, it's been a long week. Oh, it's been a long week. And it's been a long week with work and staying up late and it's just been crazy. But I just wanted to jump on here and do this. But we are not trying to divide the woman and make the woman look crazy. We are trying to rebuild relationships. I would love if men can uh, tune in to whatever you need to tune into to be able to gain the knowledge that you already have in you. That's the key. You already have this knowledge in you to be able to do a couple things. One is I have a podcast on all over the place that talks about guys stop lying, and these are just byproducts. You stop lying when you say I want to be honest. You start with the honesty part. You don't say, "Oh, I can't lie. I don't want to lie no more. I don't want to lie." And you start telling the truth, the truth, the truth, the truth. That could work, but you change the paradigm and you just decide. I'm going to be honest. Just decide. Decide right now. Like I'm gonna decide right now. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be honest on this podcast. So I'm not going to hold back because there's a lot of people in my personal life because I grew up in a Christian uh, bubble, whatever you want to call it. Um, they don't think like this. They don't think like this. Now, if they do, they don't outwardly say it and talk about it. Um, so again, TRESHO9, and this guy he's got saints and sinners. It's pretty cool. He's a saint and the sinner podcast, YouTube, and he does all kind of stuff. You got to look him up, Marquette. I think that's how you say his name. But my brother, who I don't know the dude, I was just looking at this community and gathering information for just to talk about community, because I'm already going to talk about communication because I'm experiencing it. But I found this, and it's just like another tool, because when you, if you ever get to watch, it's 3 hours or something like that, but you ever watch it, you're gonna laugh because she doesn't answer questions at all. She is just like, what are you even saying? All right, we're gonna adjust this here real quick. Hold up. Okay. Um. So communication with the opposite sex, if you will, because that's what you can put this however you want it. You really can put it however you want it. You really can put it in your own context, and you're gonna have to do that because you're not living my life. I'm living my life, so I don't know what it is that you're doing. Um, my wife better. Um, and so you're gonna have to put that in your own context. You got to put that in your own context, straight up. But it wasn't until I'm glad that she came through here, even though I don't really like that, but it is what it is. Um, my wife really began to what happened to my speaker? She really began to fall in love with me again because she saw this man, masculine man coming through, and she liked that. I didn't think that she liked that, because all I saw and all men are seeing when you look at entertainment, right? The containment, the tain is a container, and you enter the container. So when you're entertained, you are you are being programmed. You're being programmed, and you don't even know you're being programmed. Most of the time we see men being very like, oh, I gotta take the girl out, right? You meet a girl, what do? You meet the first day, you take her out and you open the door for her. Okay. You take her out and you buy her dinner, and you go do some sort of fun activity, right? So we'll just call it, for the sake of just being simple, you do the dinner and the movie, right? And who pays for the dinner and the movie? Because it's your first date. Why are you dating? You're dating to do what? You're dating to get to know each other. And yet the man has to pay to get to know you. And then, like, you dip. Oh man, I had a friend that does that. I had a friend. Well, she wasn't a friend. I'm tripping. She wasn't my friend. I would never, ever, ever hang out with her. Um, but she did this on the daily, free dinner. She did it on the daily, weekly. She had guys lined up, because it's free dinner. It's free dinner for her. You know, no sexual nothing. She just, oh sorry, I don't think this is gonna work out. Blah 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 blah. And then she would bounce, and then I was, the lucky recipient, because I wasn't and would never date her. Um, and I would hear about it. You know what I'm saying? I would hear about it. I'm just like taking notes, like, oh, these little wow. And the thing about it is, I would go talk to the next girl, and they'd be doing the same thing. And then I had a friend. Who came from Sacramento all the way to San Jose. He met a girl, and he was going to go out to dinner with her, and he went out to dinner with her. And the very first date, so it's very casual. So he wasn't thinking nothing of it. And it's funny how women, like, it's your first date, so it's got to be some kind of formality, like, don't talk to anybody else. Don't start a conversation with nobody else. Only focus on me, right? Me, 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 me. And it's like, whoa. So he's telling me like, I just, and this is a nice gentleman. This is a nice guy. And this is another reason why she bounced, right? I'm sorry, spoiler alert, she bounced. And he was like, I thought he had another conversation with another couple and brought her in and everything like that. And they were just talking, talking, talking. Apparently she didn't like that. But I was like, oh yeah, that I can see how that can be like kind of weird and everything. But that what she was doing was she was baiting him. She said, yeah, I didn't like when you did that, blah, blah, blah. You weren't focusing on me, 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 me. And he was like, I thought we were getting to know each other. Like, what? This is our first time we met. I drove all the way from Sacramento to San Jose to do this, and called her the next day, da da da. And she was like, I don't think this is gonna work out. That was a great free meal. Straight up, you know. And I'm sure she's done that to all her guys, right? And because it's what is it? This is I guess this is the way that women are trying to get to know the men, right? But see, men are just da 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 because they're just like they're not seeing all this stuff. And I told him, I go, she is just out to get you, bro, and don't call her back. Don't call her back. Another guy, another friend of mine came up. This is a younger dude, came up to me one day at work years ago and was super excited, super happy. Why? Well, let me tell you why. Because he was with a girl who drank the same beer as him, loved the same football team and soccer team. Right? Football for him, he's Portuguese, so football is American football and then European football. He watches both and loves both. But when I said football, I meant soccer. But then American football, and they would drink their beer together. And she was cool. She was like, yeah, she don't want to like, I don't spend tons of money on her. I don't this and that, and blah blah. She's so cool, man. She's just like a dude. She's just like me. Da 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 da. And at first, as soon as he said that, I was like, I go, bruh, here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna get comfortable. You're gonna give her the D, and she's gonna change. Lo and behold, after several months, the first time, boom, comes back. He's like, bruh, gave her the D. Now look at my phone. She's blowing me up. How come you didn't call me back? Where are you? Who are you with? Blah, 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 blah. He's like, bruh, I'm at work. I'm at like every day I'm at work. And she started to not trust him. She started, and so that was her tactic, right? To draw him in and to make him hers. Okay. The ownership. See, a lot of monogamy relationships are they're about ownership. Marriage, it's about ownership. When a man gets married, he marries the state. You got to understand, when a man gets married, he marries the state. I don't care what your auntie is telling you. God, Jesus, Jesus and God has ordained. No. You are marrying the state straight up, dog. Like, how can you not see that? If you can read, you're marrying the state. You got to understand that. I married two people as a officiated, married two people. Two? Did I do two? Yeah, I did two. Both of them got divorced. Yeah, only two, and both of them got divorced. And a man doesn't realize you're marrying the state. You don't get half. Well, you get half, but she gets the other half. And she gets to split it. And it's just more headache for you as a man. She's good. She's Gucci. She's good, right? So you just have to understand these truths, because when people think about communication and when they think about dating and think about red flags, they don't think about, they're so eager, right? They're way too eager to, the woman is so good looking. They're just like, oh man, because they don't see them as the prize. And these are all the things that I've been learning. I haven't arrived. I'm not teaching these things I'm not teaching these things at all, actually. These are just things that I've experienced with myself and with others, and trying to help people, personal friends of mine, Um, just because I just study this stuff, so I just know, you know, and I put myself in some of the most stupid. Oh my gosh, I don't even know like why I do it to learn. I just do it to learn because it's the only way I know how to learn. But I put myself in some silly situations. But to learn, I got my heart broken so many times just because I just wanted to like I didn't know what to do, and so I just always like was shooting my shot. Um, and and not all the time I get let down, but a lot of times I get let down. Um, but anyway, communication in women. We're going to be doing a series on this. We're going to be talking about this a lot because it's out of hand. You know, it's out of hand. Have you ever thought, you know, you ask a woman who's dating and who's on the fritz of breaking up, and you ask her why what's going on? Well, he doesn't communicate to me. Do you communicate to him? Yes, yes. I did a do. I say this. I say that. I do boo 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 boo. Ba ba ba. And you're thinking, okay, so you've conveyed all this information to the man, and he still doesn't get it. So he's not communicating. Now I get it because men don't know how to communicate either, um, because they're looking at, well, what do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? What do you got to know? You got to know something, bruh. You got to get a book, man. There's one book that I got. It changed my life, and so I always speak on it. It's literally my relationship Bible. It's called the Way of the Superior Man, and it allowed me to basically, in a nutshell, it allowed me to love my wife again and to treat her as a fucking human being and a prize. Because I first was the prize. I first was the prize. Again, when you're going in the airplane, and let's say the airplane is going down. Oh, you're not even that. You're in the airplane when they tell you to put your mask on first, then put the mask on the child or the person, help other people after you put the mask on yourself. Because if you can't get air, then you die because you lost oxygen. How you gonna help somebody else? Come on now, somebody preach, church. No, 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 no. But you think, okay, and then you know, then you start to communicate to this girl, and you start to notice, well, she sucks at communicating. Was it her or was it really him? Because she is terrible at communicating, and she's flaky. She don't know how to communicate. It's just like, and she waiting on you to communicate, and that's what it is. Guys need to realize they're waiting on you because they don't know how to do it. I, I'm just looking at this. I'm just looking at what I've experienced. I'm just looking at what I experienced. And so, how do we help the situation? And that's what we're going to talk about. How do we help the situation? First, you take the man, and that's what I'm doing right now. Men out there, if you can hear me, okay. All right, brace yourself, put your seatbelt on, and strap up. Okay, put your boots on, put your work boots on. They don't have to be steel toe, but just put some work boots on, put some shoes on, strap them bad boys up. Get your beanie, get your gear on. Okay, get ready. I just licked the mic. It's my mic, so it's all good. Don't worry about it. No corona. Um, uh, here's the thing. You need to get the book, The Way of the Superior Man. You need to read it 5 million times. No, I'm just kidding. You need to read it once, or here's how I do it. I read it, and as I go, and then I apply it. I read it and then apply it. I read it and apply it. And as I'm reading it, I'm thinking, oh, I don't know how to do that. How do I do that? But we're not in a good place for me to do that. We're fighting or something. Our marriage is not in a good position. So how do I do this? And well, you take the book, The Way of Superior Man, you read it, maybe the first 3-4 chapters or something like that. It's really easy read. It's simple, and you begin to apply you begin to apply what they say to do. and things will change. I'm telling you, oh, man, who about to cry just to think about it right now? It changed my life and it set me on a path and on a course that I will never stop doing this. Mm-mm. Nope. I don't know. Maybe I don't even. I'm not like the I need to go get a degree about sex and become a sex therapist and all. Nah, I don't. Not doing all that. Um, I do that in my own. I get my own education, but like by that book, and then I apply it. And there's not a lot of books that I read, but it's that particular one. And then I do read books here and there, but a lot of it is finding out who you are, like real quick, and start to notice things. Start to be aware of yourself. Be aware of what you say. Be aware how you say it. Right. So one of the first things I always bring this up in an example because it's the easiest thing. What do you want to eat? I don't know. What do you want to eat? I don't know. I ask you, what do you feel like eating? I don't know what you want. Boom. So have a plan. Have a plan, right? Have a simple plan. Have a backup plan. Have a plan A, have a plan B, have a plan C. Okay. And stop asking that question. What do you feel like eating? Because she's not gonna if you always ask and she always hits you with the same answer, stop asking that question. It's that simple. Hey babe, I was thinking that we have, you know what I feel like eating right now? Man, I feel like eating a fat burrito from La Vic. She's gonna go, no, I had burrito for lunch or whatever, or breakfast or whatever. And you're like, yeah, you're right, huh? Huh. Well, I'm gonna get a burrito. And then let me know what you want. I can get it for you. Right? Here's some options. You got burrito, pasta, Italian, salads, veggie grill. You got to think about kind of what has she been going through and how her day is. Da 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 da. Maybe it's a glass of wine. If it's a glass of wine, if she likes steak or chicken, maybe it's something like that. Maybe you can cook it. Hey, you know what? I changed my mind. I'm just gonna cook something. What are you gonna cook? If she eats it, she eats it. She doesn't, she doesn't. Right? Like she's a grown up. Speak up. Help her communicate. Right? Um, and then if they say no, like, I'm not hungry. You fix a little bit more. Right? You don't need to tell her that. You just fix some more stuff. And then she'll get it. So those are some of the simple ways because I know men today are still struggling with that. And these young millennials, man, they whew, bruh, you young whatever you say that, however you say that, you guys, man, I do not envy you guys. You guys have it bad because all basically they don't even want you to be men no more. I don't know what they want you to be, but they don't want you to be men. And it's like, and the women are still stayed the same. They want you to change, but the women still stay the same. Where they want that masculinity, but they're not getting it. They're getting some false masculinity. They're getting toxic masculinity because masculinity in itself is not toxic. There's just some men that tarnish the the atmosphere of a male, of a man. But it's like everything in me. I love being a man. I like being a man. Now, if I had a choice to come back as a woman, I would. And here's why though. Here's why I would come back as a woman. It's gonna sound so crazy, but I come back as a woman because sex sells. Sex sells, and you can get a lot. You can get a lot with that. You know, I can't be. You won't see me on OnlyFans and all the women. I won't have 20,000 women. What I'm saying, watching my OnlyFans. That's just not gonna happen. You know. Because women are bisocial, that they're like, well, I don't really, they don't want to know. They don't want people to know that they're looking at porn, even though they pretty much all do. Well, not all of them, but some. Um, anyway, that's not what we're going with that one. So that's gonna end that one. We'll go back to this. Let me give you some more real quick.
is we both have to be in our lane. So once we get in that lane, then we can repair how we interact with one another. And to go to age old knowledge, like Confucius, he's one of the foundational thinkers that points out that we all have a role in society. That is how you get peace, when everyone knows their position and they don't get out of it. So unlike most in the manosphere, you won't hear me disparaging women in general, African American women in particular. But what you do hear me speak on are women who are harlots, women who are degrading to society, and women who are themselves degrading to what feminists should be working toward, which is the full inclusion of capable women in the society. So will I talk greasy about these raggedy women who call themselves Instagram models, who want to have an OnlyFans page?
Yeah.
Absolutely. But will I disparage women who are honest, who are upright, moral, and loyal? Absolutely not. So if you've come on here to defend these hoes, oh, it's gonna be a long night in the
It's
office,
gonna be
love.
a
Talk to
long
me.
night, brother. That's what I'm
Okay,
talking
so
about.
first and foremost, when I say divisive, my working memory is not great, but I will.
What you
There
been
is
smoking? Weed?
no, I don't smoke, I don't drink, but
Masha, that's
it's a
beautiful.
genetic thing, unfortunately. But my work memory isn't great. But there is a title that I remember, and it was "How to Sell a Woman a Dream,"
Right.
and it's just general information or misinformation, dare I say, in some
Whoa, you
cases,
dare.
um, of sort of the dynamic between men and women. So a lot of the things that you are saying, I am in agree. I agree with you. But here's
Go
my
ahead, baby.
problem with what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
You're focusing on the individual's behavior rather than focusing on the environmental,
There
the
it is.
social, and the economic factors that cultivate behavior, because it matters. You can't say, listen, write these
No.
people off.
No,
They
yeah, brother.
are,
Get her.
they're
Get her.
not good for
Get her.
society. Instead of looking at what's cultivating this behavior, you're indicting the human, the person, for reacting to the environment that they have
That
been sort of raised in.
okay.
So to me,
Okay, hold up. You see that? You see that? So take the responsibility off of self, off the human, off the man, off the woman. Take the responsibility off that and put it on the environment, because the environment makes you. This is the problem. The problem is we want to blame somebody else all the time. Society gives out. Now that's like saying, like, when you were a kid, your teacher would say, like, well, if your friend jumped off the bridge, would you jump off a bridge? No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't. So men need to learn how to separate themselves from society and become their own leader, and then in turn lead women. Okay. So, and I'm not talking about leading them the way, like, but you got to be right. Okay. You got to do it the proper way, because it's been tarnished. The man as a leader has been tarnished because they're so focused on the environment, on the social aspect of it, and their television and their rap music. They listen to rap music and they listen to, like, well, girls like rappers and this and that, and girls like famous people. Da 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 da. Well, then I got to be like this and I got to act like them. And that's only going to get you. So that will fizzle out. That's going to fizzle out. It will fizzle out. It will fade. It will fade. So she has it a little twisted because she's like, well, you're trying to put it on the woman, try to put it on the woman. Cause, like, well, you're the one that opened your legs to somebody who you thought, where how do you get men? How do you do that? That's why I be confused, man. Women are like, oh my goodness gracious. I can't almost all my friends have been divorced. 100% of them. 100%. No, one hasn't. I got one friend that hasn't been divorced. But nobody really knows about their relationship. no, like no one knows, and it's like they never talk about their relationship. Never, 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 never. Yeah, I don't have a clue about their relationship. I ain't got a clue. You know what I'm saying? Me, I put that all out there. Like our first year of marriage was complete shit. Straight up. Complete shit. It was pathetic. I was pathetic. I was a straight worm. You know what I mean? I was a straight trick. I was whew, man. No mas, baby, no mas. No mas. And so I got to go back here. I got to go back because she goes in. Let me put
Hey,
this
don't
back.
worry, love. As long as you can take the spanking, I'll be here all night to make sure that you have
I
fun. It's always wise
look
to
high.
take
I'm
the
not high. That's the
spanking
thing.
out
I just haven't been
when the
sleeping.
memory is not the best. You might
Oh my
want to
goodness.
say more quick. I stated blah 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 blah.
And it's
We
at the end of the
came to
night
this
too.
agreement because of X, Y, and Z. That would be a good thing to do because in your case, you have the advantage that you can quote me directly from things I've recorded and immortalized on video. You haven't done that, and I don't blame you because if you were to quote me, you'd find the verity of my words. So, for example, there's a difference in my approach and your approach. Your approach is you're trying to be an academic, an idler,
Mm.
you're trying to explain why this broken woman is broken. You're trying to get understanding and sympathy for this broken female.
So does that not
I,
matter?
my dear, I would be thankful if you might let me complete a sentence. I'll try not to interrupt you. Thank you very much.
Go on, player.
So you are identifying the problem and looking at the background, the root of the problem, and that's all fine. However, I'm highly confident that the social scientists have been working tirelessly to identify the problem. There,
Mm.
however, have been a lack of real people working on solving the problem. So now you're saying we need sympathy for why these women are broken. We need understanding. I think, oh, that's cool. But what I would rather do is get to work on mending these women,
Mm.
healing these
Right.
women.
See,
As
that's
a
where we're at.
matter of fact, I have a whole organization focused on not only the healing of the male, but also the healing of the female. Our female side of things is called the Lady Saints. And all we do is work on building those women back up. So I think it's really important that when you point out something that's maybe not right or maybe
My
you're
work
right,
phone going
you
off.
first have to understand it. And number two, you have to look at, hey, what are you doing? And then he really
Right.
understands what we're doing. So we're actually taking action to build up women.
Right.
So where do you
Take
find
action.
issue with that?
Well, I mean, do you see incarceration? Do you see incarceration as a whole? Do you see it as a viable um, remedy to criminality? And I'm going to ask you a question. I just want to know what your answer is to that.
It sounds like you're going on an analogy, so I'll play along. Do I
Oh,
see
no,
incarceration as a remedy to criminality?
What is she talking about?
No.
so that's how I align my position about it. So what I think is, if you're going to trivialize what a person has been through and the systems and the inner workings that are creating an environment in which people don't become, we're not born this way. We are
Right.
socialized, we are conditioned. If you're going to trivialize it, you're going to say, look, don't focus on that as much as you focus on what you are now. First of all, it's a band-aid approach, similar to incarceration. Second of all, it really doesn't, it doesn't, you want to bond, you want to fix, but you can't align fixing something if you don't acknowledge and work on the issues around you. That person is going to come out of the situation with the same systems around them. People are not, people are not stupid. We
I
already
get
know
it.
that.
I know what he's thinking. I know what
What?
he. Okay, answer the damn question.
Oh,
What? When people feel like, you know what, no, everything is in the individualistic thing, it's on you. That is why the larger systems at play are not held accountable because of this individualistic way of thinking rather than saying, you know what, these things are tandem, they are hand in hand. One last thing that I want to say to that is
Nah.
I really do struggle with your whole, you know what, I have this whole thing and I'm doing, and I really do commend
wait.
you.
Can I address your first thing before you go to a second point? Is that cool?
Okay.
All
Right.
right.
Answer the first question.
So I first want to point out that the audio popping issues are from the lady doesn't have headphones, so you're basically hearing the feedback from me talking, and that's understandable. I didn't ask her to have headphones, so if we were ever to do this again, the lady would have headphones. So please forgive us for that. If it becomes unbearable, let us know. We'll just end the stream, perhaps do it another time. So please forgive us for that. Now, let's go ahead and get back to this work. You basically have said we need to understand the systems. It's all the systems in the environment. We can't change individuals. We have to change everything around on the planet Earth so that the world is nicer. The world is easier for these individuals. Well, here's the problem. Oh, in tandem, we got to change both at the same time. Okay, yeah, that's called victimology. Yeah, you're a victimologist. But I got to destroy your ideology because it is the root of all of the laziness we see today. It is the root of all of the complaining we see today, and it is a hyper feminine ideology. And this is the
Mm.
exact reason we should not have women in positions of leadership because they don't take responsibility, and it's called personal responsibility. Personal.
All right, let's go in on that one. So, do you get it? What was going on? So, she's saying that you can't exclude the environment that has an effect and the system that has an effect on the whole situation of a man and a woman because they're getting into why men are dipping out and not taking responsibility for the children that they're left with the woman and now the woman is doing all this stuff. She's saying that's one part of it. The other part of it is now the situation is here. I blame the system, and then I also blame my own. She's not really saying it, but she will say it later on, a little bit. But she's saying, I'm not perfect. Everyone says I'm not perfect, and that just gets old. That's a very pathetic answer. I'm not perfect. Come on, man, just stop that. And she's saying that you know we have to fix the system because if the system was proper, then you wouldn't get men and women in these predicaments, right? And I get where she's coming from because that is what the slave master wants you to do because that's how they empower themselves and keep you oppressed. Okay. Now, what he's saying is, and what I believe, this is how I've been operating, and this is what I've been doing is you take responsibility for yourself. It's up to me. I'm not looking at and we can, I don't I guess we can talk about Black Lives Matter. I don't adhere to Black Lives Matters or whatever that movement BLM, the Bureau of Land Management .gov. I don't adhere to that because I'm trying to have and get sovereignty and try to get freedom from that. And that's what every black person has. Not every, I said every black person, I'm tripping. That's what some black people are trying to do. They were like, where's my 40 acres and a mule? Because that's what they were promised. And so they're trying to remove themselves from the oppression from the system, and then they can build their own system, excuse me, and their own banks and whatnot, instead of relying on somebody else to do it. So I look at the Amish, and I haven't studied the Amish, but we all know the Amish. They be rolling around. They don't even roll around in motor vehicles. They roll around in horse and carriage still to this day. They don't care. They don't care because we're not going to put our money in the hands of somebody else. We're not going to take we're not going to give the responsibility of somebody else doing anything for us. We will take full responsibility for ourselves. Now, of course, you can go on and I'm sure there's some bad things going on with the Amish and whatnot. But I'll have my salad over there. I forgot. And but it's so I get it. And so what he's saying is, how do we bring these things together? How do we bring these two people together to create a family uh organism, if you will, right? Now, how that looks, you can do it however you want to do it, really, because once you, again, when I talked about in the very beginning, when you study marriage, people want to get married. Marriage is a product that was pushed to women And I know that a lot of Christians love to think that God created it. And I'm sure that he created some aspect of it. But what you see and what you are doing today, if you got married today, has nothing to do with God. Nothing. It has everything to do with the man is marrying the state. He is getting in bed with the state. Okay. You're better off going off and making your own contract, and you can get married. You can marry yourself. You can marry you and your lover can marry each other. So you can, right? And so it's and removing the state away from that, because why does the state want to get you involved in the marriage? Because you become another entity. Okay, now you are three entities. Okay, you are Mark and you are Tamara. That's two. The third one is your Mark and Tamara. So you're an entity. You are a separate entity on the maritime stock exchange. And so you have to be careful about these things. You gotta do your research. I got articles and book. I got like, man, I got like several books and several articles and just documents. And I have the Black's Law Dictionary that I was reading that talks about marriage. And what people don't understand, what women don't understand, is that, and when you are married, also the man becomes the lord over that property, because it's all about property, you guys. It's all about property and the ownership of property. So that's why there's three different things, those three entities, and that's the danger, because people don't realize that. Nobody sits here and thinks about this stuff. The people are gonna be like, anyway, I'm still gonna get married because God wants me to get married, and I don't want to go to hell. It's all selfish. And so, um, when you start to look and you start to look into this, and you start to listen to what she's saying, if you ever want to, her channel is whack, by the way. Straight up, man. I don't even know. Maybe I haven't dove into it, but it's completely whack. And if you ever watch, she's just like, whew, man, it changed I've met many feminists. I had a English teacher that was a straight up feminist, like full on feminist. Um, like she's an activist for women, and she doesn't even like the new feminist. She told me straight up. She's like, I don't. These new feminists are I don't know what they like. Hate men. Like they want to actually murder men. I do. Oh, this is a great one. This is a great story. This is a short story, but this is great. So I was online and I was on Instagram, and I started following this girl. I think it was a girl, and I didn't know it at the time. We followed each other, and I didn't know it at the time. But she was a what she called herself, an anti-breeder, right? Anti-breeder, and I think, yeah, anti-breeder, and she may have been a feminist too. I don't know how that really works. I'm still kind of new to all this. But she's an anti-breeder, and she was like, I don't know. I made a comment of some sort about, I have 3 kids or this, and that. And she was like, how dare you bring a child into this world? And I was like, whoa. She's like, you should die. Your penis should be cut off. I mean, she just went off. I was like, wow. Like, baby girl, who didn't show you love? I mean, what happened to you that you would want men dead? And then there was another woman also and that was a conversation I had between her, and I was like, I had to stop that. Because she what she did was she was getting everybody else on the comments like, look at this guy, look at this guy, look at this guy. I'm like, my goodness, I was just, like celebrating. And I don't remember what it was. It could have been about a pet. It could have been about something. I don't think I said something rude or whatever. I'm not really sure. I could have. Because if it was about a pet and she was like, "Oh, I'm a parent to this dog or whatever," I said it's not the same thing. Like giving birth, like you didn't give birth to that pet. You know, your the pet had babies. You didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? And she went off. She went off. She wanted me dead. Like she said that, and my penis should be cut off. Straight up. I was like, "Oh my goodness gracious, what is going on? Like, who the hell do you think you are? First of all, nigga, I'll jump through this screen real quick. I don't play that. I don't care who you are." Anyway, let me put my uh non-street hat on. I'm not from the streets, but you know what I'm saying? I like to act like I am sometimes. It's funny because I told myself I'm not from the streets, but it's like I have that mentality. I don't even know where it comes from. I really don't. But there's certain things I don't do. There's certain things I don't, I don't get down with. And I don't get down. If you choose not to have babies, that's cool. But the fact that like these new feminists is what she was talking about. My English teacher, she was like these new feminists. That I mean, they want to actually murder. They want to shoot men in the head and murder them, and they don't want men on this planet at all. And people don't realize that that's the movement. That's the underlying movement of the new feminist, right? And feminists are walking around, I'm a feminist. I'm a feminist. You know what I'm saying? It's like you sign up for a club that you didn't really read the fine line. You didn't read the fine print because your leader is trying to murder the actual get a gun, right, and kill people. This is what they want to do, and so and they have no shame. They're just on YouTube, they're on Instagram, they're on social media talking about this stuff, and it's like, my goodness gracious, here I am trying to mend relationships, and you're trying to murder men. Like, come on now, stop that. Don't do that. Don't do that. If you want to be mean and stuff like that, go to Alaska or something. I don't know. Go to Alaska. Go sit yourself in some ice cubes. Go dip yourself in some ice cubes or something like that. Go cool off. But I get it though. Back to what she was talking about. She's talking about how just in tandem, right, together. She's very much into this particular feminist is very much into equal rights. Uh, down to the like the man should do the dishes, the woman does the dishes. Again, I'm not opposed to all these different things, but she is like it's just weird. It gets weird. I can't even explain it, but the there's even women on there. They're going like, "What the heck? What is she doing?" And she's from Canada. She's not even American. She's Canadian, Canadian French. But anyway, I'm about to wrap this bad boy up right now. TRESHO9. This is a different one. This has been a different one. It's a different one. Um, Look at this. See? I don't even know. Yeah, some text message, but it's been real, folks. Um, we're gonna be. I like this 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 StreamYard. That's what I'm using. I like it. I haven't figured out how to do the screen sharing thing. Like you share the screen, but you're not able to like. Oh, whoops! Did I stop it? I don't even know what I did. I guess I stopped it, but you're not even able to like pause the video within that. I don't know if I like that. Like you can't pause the video if I share the screen. So I'm gonna share screen. You tab over here. Boom. Share audio. Boom. You can do that like that. How's that look? Boom. You can do that. That's pretty dope. But you can't play full screen layout. Oh, what the heck? Yeah, you can't play it from here. Can you play it from here? Nah, you can't. See, I don't like that. You can't play it. You got to go out to the thing, push this.
Meaning as an individual. Now, let me show you how
And then do
wrong
that.
you are. You want to say all of the systems are
What
the
did I
reason
put a
that
background to
people
it?
are in straits,
happened?
are in disrepair. No, that is not the case. It is not. There's no system keeping people down. And you should really be ashamed when you're in Canada, which is one of the most pleasant, nicest systems on the whole planet Earth. Now, if the system was getting people down, how is it that I grew up in Section 8 government housing in Los Angeles, in poverty, literally grew up in the same project as another kid with the very rare name of Marquette? We had literally the same demographic background. I had no father. He had no father. My mom was on drugs. His mom was on drugs. I lived with my grandmother. He lived with my grandmother. Let's talk about systems. We were under the same system, but personal responsibility, personal decisions, personal values, personal choices lifted me up out of poverty, and it left him in poverty and eventually incarcerated. Why is that? Because the individual mindset and decisions matter. So what you should really be doing, instead of complaining about things beyond your control, beyond your locus of control, is you should do the simple work of reaching out to people who are within your influence to teach them to change their behaviors. Because I've never met a crack.
Now, come on, somebody. Anyway, I'm out of here. I've been talking too long. My voice is getting scratchy, and I got a headache. So I haven't been sleeping well lately, and that's because I'm watching too much TV, and that's like my entertainment right now. But this is also my entertainment too. So anyway, anywho, let's get the baby boo. Ooh, 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 ooh. TRESHO9, folks. Peace out. Thank you for watching. Tune in on the weekends. I'm usually here Saturday. It's like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Usually like on a Saturday and Sunday, I'm going to be doing this, these lives and going from there. So it is what it is. You dig? Peace out. Mark Augustine here, a.k.a. DJ Swift. And I'm out this piece.